Deuteronomy chapter 17. Lo tithbah Yahweh lo hekathor washa atra yehye kol davar ra ki to avat Yahweh lo hekahu. Thou shalt not sacrifice to Yahweh thy God ox or sheep, which should have in it a blemish, any evil thing. For an abomination to Yahweh thy God it is. Ki as be found in thy midst, ba'ahad thararaka, in one of thy gates, atar Yahweh Eloheka northen lach, which Yahweh thy God is one giving to thee. Ishahoitha, a man or a woman, atar yasha et hara be'ene Yahweh Eloheka, which should effectuate the evil in the eyes of Yahweh thy God, la'avor berit, to transgress his covenant, wayelek, and he went, wayavod Elohim acherim, and he served other gods, wayishtahu lahem, and he bowed himself down to worship them. Wala shemesh o la yarech o lekol shabah hashamayim atar lo thiwiti, or to sun, or to moon, or to any of the host of the skies, which I have commanded not. Wuhugadluka wushama'ata, and it be told to thee, and thou hear, Warathata hetev, Wihinne metnakon hadavar, Ne'eshata hato eva hadot, B'Yisrael. Then thou shalt search, making good, and behold, truth. The word is established. The abomination, this abomination, hath been effectuated in Yisrael. Wahosheta etahaishahu o etahaithahi atar ashu etahadavar hara'ahadha eletharaka etahaish o etahaitha. Also thou shalt bring out that man or that woman which they have done this evil thing to thy gates, the man or the woman, usakalatam bahavanim wametu, and thou shalt stone them by means of the stones, and they shall die. Alapi thanaim edim, ortholotha edim, yumatahameth. Upon the mouth of 2 witnesses or 3 witnesses, the dying one shall die. Lo yumat alapi ed ehad. He shall not die upon the mouth of 1 witness. Yadaha edim tihye vovarishona lahamito yadakol ha'am bacharona. The hand of the witnesses shall be against him at the first to put him to death, and the hand of all the people afterwards. And thou shalt burn away the evil from thy midst. Ki yipale mimka dabar lamithpat. As a matter for the judgment, be too wondrous more than thee, be wondrous more than thee, too wonderful for thee, too difficult or marvelous, extraordinary for thee. Ben Adam Ladam, Ben Adin Ladin, we Ben Nega La Nega, Dibere Rivot, Bitharaka. Between blood and blood, between judgment and judgment, between stroke and stroke, words of controversies in thy gates. وقمت وعاليت إلى حماقوم أطريب حرية وهلوه كابو. Also thou shalt arise, and thou shalt go up to the place which Yahweh thy God is choosing it. Wavata, and thou shalt come, Ela hakohanim halawiyim, to the priests, the Lewiyim, Wehela hathopet, Atar Yehye bayamim hahem, and to the judge which shall be in those days, Wadarashata, Wahigidu laka, and thou shalt seek, and they shall tell thee. Et debar hamithapat, the word of the judgment. Wa'ashita ala pi hadabar atar yagidu laka, and thou shalt effectuate according to the mouth of the word which they shall tell to thee. Minahamma qomahahu, from that place, Atarayiva hara Yahweh, which Yahweh is choosing. Washamarta la'ashot, and thou shalt be careful or watch to do. Kukol atarayoruka, like everything which they are directing thee. Alapi hatorah atarayoruka, according to the mouth of the directive which they are directing thee. Wa'alaham mithapat atarayohamarulaka, and according to the judgment which they shall speak to thee. Ta'asher, thou shalt effectuate. Lo tasur min hadavar atarayagidu laka yamin wishimol. Thou shalt not turn aside from the thing which they tell to thee, right or left. Wahaish atrayasha bezadon, and the man which should effectuate in arrogance, in insolence, presumptuousness, levilati shemo'a ela hakohen ha'omed l'sharet tham et Yahweh Eloheka, to not heed to the priest, the one standing to serve there, to serve Yahweh thy God there, or Elaha Shofet, or to the judge. Also, that man shall die. And thou shalt burn away the evil from Yisrael. Wukol ha'am yishma'u v'yirahu, and all the people, they shall hear and they shall fear. V'lo yazidu ma'od, and they shall not be acting arrogantly, presumptuously, insolently anymore. Ki tavo elaharish atar Yahweh Eloheka northern lach. As thou come to the land which Yahweh thy God is one giving to thee, We'erithatah, We'yathabatavah, and thou possess it, and thou sit in it. Wahamarata Ashima alai melech, and thou shalt say, I would set upon me a king. Kukol hagoyim atrasevivotai, like all the nations which are round about me. Shomatashima aleka melech atrayivaharya wehelohekabo. Settingly, thou shalt set over thee a king which Yahweh thy God shall choose him. Miqrab acheka tashima aleka melech. From the midst of thy brothers thou shalt set over thee a king. Lo hatukal la teta aleka ish nokari atar lo achikahu. Thou art not being able to give upon thee a foreign man, which is not being of thy brothers. Rak lo yarabe lo susim. Only he shall not multiply to himself horses. Lo yathib et ha'am mithraim lemaran harabot sus. And he shall not cause the people to return to Mithraim for the sake of multiplying horses. Yahweh maralachem lo hatosifun la thub baderka hadeod. When Yahweh hath said to you, ye shall not add to return in this way any more. Lo yarbe lo nathim, and he shall not multiply to himself women. Lo yasur levavo, and his heart shall not turn away. Wechesep withahab, lo yarbe lo mohd, and silver and gold he shall not multiply to himself exceedingly. Wahaya kathibato alakise mamalakato, and it shall be as his sitting upon the throne of his kingdom. Ukatablo et mithane hatorah hadot al seper. Also he shall write for him a copy of the directive, this law, upon a record or book. Milifene hakohanim halawiyim, before the faces of the priests, the Lewiyim. Wahayata immo Wakarahabo Kol Yemeh Hayai, and it shall be with him, and he shall read in it all the days of his life. Lemachana Yilamad Leyaraha et Yahweh Elohayu, for the sake that he learn to fear Yahweh his God. Lishamor et kol divrei haTorah hadot ואת החוקים האלה לעשותם, to keep all the words of this directive, this law, and these statutes, to effectuate them. Levilati rum levavo me'echau. Ulabilati sura minaham mithawa, yamin washimol. So that his heart not rise up from his brothers, and so that he not turn from the command, right or left, Lemagana yarik yamim alamamalakato huwavanau beqerb Yisrael, for the sake that he lengthened days upon his kingdom, he and his sons, in the midst of Yisrael.